A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Stand by all stations.
Attention, all districts. A 5-alarm fire. 5 bells. Move in immediately.
That's it. Let's roll. Let's go. Firefighters. Presenting Firefighters, the true-to-life story of our unsung heroes who stand ready to ride by day or night against our most murderous enemy, the demon of fire. In just a minute, we'll join the heated conference in the office of the manager of Rainbow House, where Tim Collins, rookie fireman, and his brother Jimmy have just asked Mr. Lippett a significant question. But before we hear Mr. Lippett's hot-tempered charges against Chief Cody, here's an important message for you. Let's go, firefighters. Let's go to the office of Mr. Lippett, proprietor of Rainbow House, the city's leading restaurant. Now, Mr. Lippett, you remember, has just begun an open attack on Chief Cody. And Tim Collins, changing from his fire department uniform into civilian clothes, has accompanied his brother Jimmy on a visit to Rainbow House. Tim's intention is to inquire into the truth of Mr. Lippett's accusations against Chief Cody, while Jimmy has school business to transact. Lippett has just told him.
Now, let's see. As I understand it, your class at Northside School intends to rent one of our rooms for, what was the occasion?
Our class banquet, Mr. Lippett.
Oh, yes, your class banquet. Now, 50 guests, you said, and you let me have your final decision on the menu well in advance.
Yes, Mr. Lippett.
Well, my young friend, I think that completes our business, doesn't it?
Yes, Mr. Lippett.
Just one thing more.
Oh? Yes?
Well, this is my brother's business, and I don't want to butt in, but, well, since I'm here, Mr. Lippett.
You, have a question, Mr. Collins?
I was just wondering. It's quite a responsibility, catering to these boys and girls, 50 of them, packed into one of your rooms for a whole evening.
Well, I think your brother will have no complaint about our service, sir.
Oh, it wasn't the service I had in mind.
My dear Mr. Collins, every night on the average, we entertain capacity crowds in our Rainbow Club. 600 guests, Mr. Collins, and as many more in our special banquet rooms upstairs. And I may say that no complaint about our service.
What about the decorations?
Oh, yes, the rainbow motif. What about it?
Golly, it's beautiful. Those draperies and... Gosh, I never saw ceilings like that before. All shiny cloth, just like a real rainbow.
And just about as flimsy.
What?
Those draperies and ceiling fabrics, you have them all through the building. They've been fireproofed, of course.
Fireproofed? Oh, so that's what's on your mind. You've been reading the papers, huh?
Why, yes, I have, Mr.
You've been reading these ridiculous charges, this malign attack on my Rainbow House by that jack-in-office. Well, if you want the facts, I'll give them to you. I'll tell you what that scoundrel is trying to do to me.
Now, just a minute, sir. Who's this scoundrel you're talking about?
Cody. Robert Cody, the chief of the fire department.
Tim, don't let him say things about
Quiet,
that.
Jimmy.
But he can if you don't stop him.
That's enough. Mr. Lippett, before Jimmy came down here to see you on business for his class at school, we both read the afternoon paper.
You did? Well, then you know what that man is trying to do. That he means to put me out of business unless I consent to pour colossal sums of money down the drain.
For what purpose?
To change all my decorations, to cut new doors, rebuild old doors, put in stairways. I don't remember half of it. Nobody could. Hello? Hello, what is it? Who? Cody? He's downstairs? Well, send him right up. No, wait. Let him cool his heels. Tell him Mr. Lippett will consent to see him in 20 minutes or so. Well. Did you gentlemen hear that conversation?
Yes, we heard it.
The man himself. Chief Cody, crawling here on his hands and knees.
Gosh, I think you're about to...
Jimmy.
Well, I do.
But something you were going to say, young man?
No, sir, I guess not.
Well, now, since our business is concluded...
About renting that room for the class banquet, Mr. Lippett. I've been thinking over and... Huh?
Time to be going, Jimmy. Mr. Lippett is a busy man.
Oh, we're never too busy to conduct a little business, you know. Say, since you're interested, it's too bad you can't stay for my my interview with Chief Cody. Yes, that's the door. Good day, gentlemen. Come in. Put the tray here on my desk, will you? I'm busy with these books. Well, what's the delay?
I'm not one of your waiters, Mr. Lippett.
You're not... Oh, I'm so sorry. I was expecting a little snack. Well, what can I do for you?
Let's cut out the smoke screen, Mr. Lippett. You know who I am. You kept me waiting downstairs long enough to impress me with how busy you are.
Oh, do let me apologize. I should have realized that the well-known Chief Cody should never be kept waiting.
You're bitter about this, aren't you?
Bitter? When some cheap-jack official threatens to close my establishment unless I rebuild, redecorate, reconstruct the Rainbow House to suit his taste?
Now, just a minute.
I can see a shakedown coming as well as the next man.
A shakedown?
I knew what was coming when that inspector of yours handed me his list.
Mr. Lippett, that was a list of precautions. A list of changes you've got to make to protect the patrons of your establishment.
From what?
From fire. From being caught in a fire that could rage through every floor of this building before anyone could escape.
Listen, you can't frighten me, Cody. I know how you fellas work.
Oh, you do? Well, would you mind telling me?
I made my stand clear enough in the newspapers. You sent that inspector here to cook up a fake list of violations. Then you order me to make certain changes, or you'll close my building. But I know what you mean.
All right, come on, let's have it.
You mean that if I don't want to make those changes, that all I have to do is cross your palm with silver, line Bob Cody's pocketbook with cash?
Mr. Lippett,
If you lay a hand on me, you're through in this town.
All right. I came here to talk this over, to explain the items in that list of violations. I came here...
You came here to collect, but you can't bulldoze me, Cody. You read my challenge in today's paper. I demand an open hearing.
All right, then you'll get it. You'll get your hearing, and I hope you enjoy the results. Good day, sir.
Oh, 8572. Hello? Hello, Wrigley and Riddlesford? I want McLean. Just going home, we'll catch him. Call him back. Certainly it's important. This is Lippett at Rainbow House. Well, then get him. I'll hold the line. All right, come in. Oh, hello, Max. About that party in number 9 for tonight. Yeah, I know. I'll be with you in a minute. No, don't go. You'll want to hear this. You were here when the inspector from the fire department gave... hello? Hello, McLean. Get this, Max. You don't want to miss this. Hello, McLean. Listen, we've got our friend Cody right where we want him. Well, listen to me, will you? All right, now look. He was in here not 5 minutes ago for the payoff. That's right, the payoff. Well, he didn't actually come out and ask for money to buy him off, but... Well, no. He pretended that he wanted to explain that list of changes he'd ordered us. Well, all right then. How about this? He's been spying on me. I said spying. He sent spies to talk to me before he came in. Yeah, a man and a boy. Said they were brothers, called themselves Collins. Yeah, that's right. They had the nerve... Huh? Well, how should I know what they were after? But Cody sent them. Now, listen, I stood here at my office window looking out when Cody left. And these Collinses, he picked them up and they all drove off in his car. Well, all right, then, get busy. Get a line on these Collinses. And look, draw up those charges against Cody for the hearing. Why, we'll charge him with soliciting a bribe. and we'll make it stick.
Now there's a double order of trouble for Chief Cody and Tim Collins. Mr. Lippett, refusing to listen to the reason for the necessary changes Chief Cody has ordered to make Rainbow House a safe place for people to congregate, has declared open war on the fire chief. He plans to blacken the chief's good name with charges of taking bribes and also to smear Tim Collins. For the next phase of this important case, listen to our next true-to-life episode of The Firefighters. In just a moment, Chief Bob Cody will tell you, boys and girls, how you can help the firefighters in your own town. But first, here's a message you ought to hear. And now, Chief Bob Cody with a special assignment for the Firefighters Brigade. Chief Cody.
Boys and girls, this is Chief Cody with your special assignment. Firefighters, attention. You are to lend a hand every chance you get to help with the unending campaign of education. That's right. You are to be teachers, explaining to younger boys and girls the rules for fire prevention. Now, for example, you can teach them to be careful with matches. When the little fellow finds a match, he should be taught to leave it alone, never to take chances in playing with it. Remember, a single match is enough to set a house on fire. And you, better than anyone else, can teach younger boys and girls to be careful. Well, that is all. So long for now.
Fire Chief Cody and the young rookie fireman Tim Collins will be back on the same station the next time you hear... That's it. Let's roll! Let's go! Firefighters!
Countdown for blast off. X minus 5, 4, 3, 2, X minus 1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million could-be years on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction, presents
X minus 1.
Tonight's story, The Roads Must Roll, by Robert Heinlein.
Hear them hum, watch them run. Oh, our job is never done, for our roadways go rolling along. While you ride, while you glide, we are watching down in sight, so your roadways keep rolling along. Oh, it's high, high, he, the rotor men are we. Check off the sectors loud and strong. 1, 2, anywhere you go. You are bound to know that your roadways keep rolling along. Keep them rolling! That your roadways keep rolling along.
It was in the middle 1950s that the automotive age began to die. The traffic engineers had long expected it. For years, they had watched our vast cities sprawl and spread out, spill over into the countryside, become more and more dependent on motor transportation. And then finally, the inevitable breaking point was reached. The growing flood of cars and buses and trucks began to swamp the streets and arterial highways. The building of roads could no longer keep pace. The superhighways, clogged, congested, became packed with cars stalled bumper to bumper. And the cities began to die of slow strangulation, where the traffic could no longer roll. And then the engineers took over. They banned the automobiles, tore up the superhighways, and in their place they built the rolling roads. Mechanized roads that moved like huge conveyor belts, whirling along on their giant rotors at speeds ranging from 5 to 100 miles an hour, carrying the freight, the food and the people from city to city and coast to coast. And no one worried over the fact that if the road should ever stop, our whole economic life would stop. For the machinery had never failed yet. But people forgot that machinery depends on men. The men who run it.
Who makes the roads roll? We do! That's right, the engineers. We're the brains of the road. And where would the public be if we didn't keep the roads rolling? Right behind the 8 ball, and everybody knows it. All right, then. We're the men who hold the power, and it's time we started using it. We've called this meeting of the Engineers Control Committee because that's what we want to do. Control. Because I'm tired of taking orders from the Transport Commission from slick desk jockeys like Jim Gaines, who don't even know a rotor bearing from a field corn. Now, let Gaines yammer about our duty to the public. That's a lot of eyewash. We've got the power, and we're the men that count. Now, it's time we quit fiddling around and use a little direct action to get what we want.
Mr. Chairman!
The chair recognizes Brother Harvey of the Transport Mechanics Union.
Thanks. Now, I don't rightly belong here since I'm no engineer. I'm just here to represent the workers' union. But I want to know what's all the shouting for. You engineers have got better working conditions than we have, and we ain't kicking. You say the engineers are powerful. You say you can tie up the roads. Well, so can any screwball with a jar of nitroglycerin. And he wouldn't need no engineer's degree to do it, neither.
Harvey, are you speaking for your union now, or are you here as a stooge for the Transport Commission?
Listen, Van Fleek, I helped fund my union. I led the strike in 75 for decent working conditions. Where were you engineers then? With the feet!
Brother Harvey, remember, you're only a guest at this meeting. Go on, Van.
Now, listen, men. I'm one of the old engineers on the roads. You all are, worked up the hard way. We didn't go to the fancy technical institutes like those young punk cadet engineers the commission is training to take over our jobs unless we do something to stop them. Jim Gaines hasn't been able to fill us full of the old school spirit and that baloney about how the roads must roll. So all right then. Why don't we get smart for a change? What would happen if the roads stopped rolling? Maybe the country would begin to realize that they can't do without us. Maybe we'd begin to get the things we want. Who says the roads must roll?
Yes?
Your wife is calling, Mr. Gaines.
Put her on.
Jim, I want you to stop off on your way home.
I'm sorry, darling, I can't make it.
But you promised.
I know, but Washington called in. They're sending Evans, the Australian Minister of Transport, through my sector today. I've got to show him through personally.
Can't somebody else?
I'm chief supervisor. Wouldn't be courteous.
Courtesy begins at home. I've planned this dinner for weeks.
Honey, the roads must roll.
Oh, if you quote that nauseating slogan at me again, I'll divorce you.
I can't help it, darling. I'll meet you at Stockton at 9 and we'll take in a show. Kiss Alan good night for me.
Well, all right. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Mr. Evans is here.
Show him in. Well, good evening, Mr. Evans. I'm Gaines, chief engineer.
How do you do, Mr. Gaines? They told me at the embassy you'd be the man to see. I want to know how the roads work.
I think we can handle that.
Well, I'm not a technical man, Mr. Gaines. My field is sociology. So, suppose you tell me about the roads as if I were entirely ignorant.
Fine. It's nearly at dinner time. Suppose we run up to Stockton sector for dinner. It'll take us about an hour on the roads, and you can see them working.
Excellent.
If you'll excuse me a minute.
Certainly.
Hi, Chief. What can I do for you?
Dave, you're on evening watch, eh? Where's Van Cleet?
Going to some meeting.
I'm going up to Stockton for dinner. Anything to report?
No, sir. The roads are rolling.
Okay. Keep them rolling. All right, Mr. Evans. Let's go. This is the low-speed strip. Ever ridden a conveyor before?
No.
It's quite simple. Remember to place the motion of the strip as you get on. There. We'll go right across. Each adjoining strip is a few miles an hour faster than the one next to it. Freight is carried on the 50-mile strip, most passenger traffic on the express strip. All right, now watch your step. Here we are, the maximum speed.
100 miles an hour. It doesn't seem possible.
This trip makes the round trip San Diego to Reno in 12 hours. Ready to eat?
Is this the restaurant?
Jake's Steakhouse. Fastest meal on the road.
Is it really a proper restaurant?
One of the best. Shall we go in?
Hello, Mr. Gaines. We don't see you much out on the road.
Busy in the office, Jake.
Two? Right this way. What'll it be?
You order.
Well, how about a steak? 2 inches thick from a steer that died happy.
Fine. Plug me in the phone, will you?
There's one right next to you. Flank 2, rare.
You'll excuse me, Mr. Evans?
Certainly.
Davidson on watch.
This is the chief. I'm at Jake's Steakhouse. You can reach me at 10L66.
10L66, right.
Yeah. Now they can get hold of me in an emergency.
Oh? What kind of emergency could there be?
Two, principally. Power failure on the rotors would bring the road to a standstill. If that happened during rush hour, we'd have to evacuate millions of people from the road.
As many as that?
Easily. There are 12 million people dependent on this section of road. Gaines here.
Hello, Chief Davidson. Just got the hourly reports in. Diego Circle, Bakerfield Sector, Stockton Sector, and Reno Circle all rolling.
Oh, you didn't have to bother me with the hourlies, Dave.
There's a supplementary from Sacramento.
Proceed.
Cadet Engineer Gunther, while on watch, was found playing cards with C.J. Ross, technician on duty.
Any damage?
One rotor running hot, but still synchronized. It was jacked down and replaced.
All right, have the paymaster give Ross his time and turn him over to civil authorities. Place Cadet Gunther under arrest and bring him to Rotown Central.
Yes, sir.
All right. Keep him rolling. I was saying there were two possibilities of danger. Can you visualize what would happen if the strip under us would break?
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. You don't realize you're traveling at 100 miles an hour.
Well, it can't. Not now. The strip has a safety factor of over 12 to 1. It'd take a blowout of several miles of rotors and a failure of circuit breakers before the strip could part. But it happened once in the early days on the Philadelphia-Jersey City road. The strip wasn't much more than a conveyor belt. It buckled for miles, crushing passengers against the roof. Forward section in front of the brake spilled them down under into the rotors and rollers.
Oh. Was it very bad?
Over 3,000 people were killed in that break. But the roads had to go on. The entire economic system hangs on the roads. If they stopped now, the country would starve.
Well, isn't it possible that you've become too dependent on these roads? I mean, if your whole economy is geared to the function of one type of machinery...
The roads are foolproof now. The machinery is interlocked with an enormous safety factor.
Yes, but in the long run, machinery depends on men. What if you had a strike?
We had one back in 75. Well, there's not much danger of that anymore.
No? Well, why not?
Every cadet that goes to work on the roads today is a graduate of the United States Transport Academy. They're all picked men, screened for emotional stability, and trained to give us the same kind of loyalty that Annapolis and West Point develop in their men.
I see. Are you a graduate, Mr. Gaines?
No, I'm too old for that. The academy wasn't set up till after the strike in 75. But it won't be long now, maybe 5 or 10 years, before the oldest engineer on the roads is a man who's been through the academy. Gaines here.
Davidson, there's another trouble report from Sacramento Sector.
Again? What is it this time?
What's this? What is it? What happened?
Emergency stop. Hello. Hello, Davidson. Phones are out. Come on. Jake! Jake!
What is it? What's the matter with the road?
Have everybody stay in the restaurant.
What's that?
Probably somebody stepped onto the next strip. Got cut to ribbons. There'll be plenty of casualties. Jake, where's your getaway hat?
In the pantry.
Look here, aren't we going to help those people?
I've got the whole road to think of. Don't bother me. Give me a hand, Jake. The hatch is stuck. If you're coming with me, Mr. Evans, you've got to move fast. I haven't got any time to waste.
Where are we now?
Freeway on top of the inner road ceiling. That's the outer shell over us.
Are we going outside?
No, there'll be an access down manhole over here. They're spaced every 100 feet. There, by the green light. Now, this will get us down on the northbound road. Careful, it's dark. Now stand away from the door, Evans.
Yes. But this road is still rolling.
It was only the 100-mile strip that stopped. That's what I want, a phone booth. Look out, excuse me. Look out.
Hey,
Hey, I'm talking to my wife. What's the idea
Don't
of
argue.
busting in here?
Out.
Yeah, but
Emergency priority, division office.
Davidson.
Gaines here, report.
Chief, where have you been? I've been calling you.
Never mind that, report.
709, consolidated tension. Report strip 20, Sacramento sector, past emergency level. Interlocks acted and cut the strip out. Cause of failure unknown. Direct communication cut to Sacramento control office. Evacuation of strip 20 commenced. No casualties.
There are casualties. I saw them. Put police and hospital routine A into operation. Get me Bank Click. I want him to take over for me till I report in.
We can't reach him, Chief. Shall I cut out the rest of the road?
No. Keep those other strips rolling or we'll have a traffic jam the devil himself couldn't untangle. There are 5 million passengers on the road now. Notify the governor that I have assumed emergency authority. Arm all cadets available and await orders.
Shall I recall technicians off
No.
watch?
This isn't an engineering failure. That whole sector went out simultaneously. Somebody cut those rotors by hand. I want all available senior class cadets to report to Stockton subsector, Office 10, with pistols and tear gas.
Yes, sir. The governor wants to talk to you. He called in.
Refer him to someone else. I'm busy. I'll get back to you. I'm going down under. Evans! Evans!
I can't hear you. There's a noise.
Put on this helmet.
What?
Helmet! Helmet!
Oh, yes.
You can't hear without an anti-noise filter. Come on.
What are we looking
A
for?
recon car. There should be one here.
Are those the rotors?
Now, the big ones are rotors. They drive the road. The little ones are rollers. They give continuous support. There's a watch gang now, jacking down a rotor.
Can they hear us?
No, the noise filter works on a 4-foot radius. I'll flash him. Now, he sees the light.
Cadet Wilson reporting, sir.
I want your recon car, emergency.
Yes, sir, right over here, sir.
Come on, Evans.
Yes.
Now, get in.
But it's so small.
You'll fit all right. You can take off your noise filter now. Hang on, she accelerates like a rocket.
Ooh, my stomach.
Relay station.
This is Gaines. Get me Davidson, senior watch officer.
Mr. Gaines, the mayor wants to talk to you.
I haven't got time. Get me Davidson. And leave this circuit hooked into Davidson's board until I tell you to cut it.
Yes, sir. Here is the senior watch officer.
Davidson.
Gaines calling. Have you found out yet what's stopping the roads?
No, sir. It's still a mystery to me.
All right. I'm on my way in a recon car. Hold everything till I get there.
Cadet Edmonds reporting, sir. 3 platoons of cadet engineers standing by with tumblebug motorcycles.
Armed?
Pistols and tear gas as ordered, sir.
Good.
Assistant Supervisor Van Cleek is calling you on Circuit 9, sir.
Van Cleek. It's about time. Put me in.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Van. Where are you?
Sacramento office. Now listen.
Sacramento. That's good. Report.
In a pig's eye.
What?
I'm not your deputy anymore, Gaines.
What are you talking about?
Listen, don't interrupt me and you'll find out. You're through, Gaines. I've been picked as director of the Engineers Control Committee. We're taking over.
Have you gone off your rotor?
We stopped Strip 20 just to give you a taste of what we can do. We're running things now.
And you don't really think you can get away with this?
You can't start Strip 20 until I'm ready to let you. I can stop the whole road if I have to.
Van Cleek, I'll call in the Army.
How will you get them here if the roads aren't rolling? Now listen, Gaines. Whoever controls the roads controls the country. And right now, that happens to be me. Now sign off, Gaines. Gotta call the White House. You behave yourself and you won't get hurt.
I don't believe it, sir.
He's got us, Edmonds. If we go in and blast him out, he may wreck the road. What's your rolling tonnage now?
53% under evening peak, sir.
How about strip 20?
Almost evacuated.
Listen in on this, Davidson.
Standing by, Chief.
I'm going down inside with these cadets. We'll work north, overcoming any resistance that we may meet. The watch technicians and maintenance crews are to follow behind us. Each rotor, as they come to it, is to be cut out from under Sacramento's control, then hooked into the Stockton control board. Understand?
Got it.
Check.
If it works right, we can move control of Sacramento sector right out from under Vance's feet, and he can stay in his office there till he's hungry enough to be reasonable. Edmonds, get me a pistol.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Gaines, there's a man here. He's badly hurt. He wants to see you.
Take care of him. I haven't got time.
He's from Sacramento sector.
What? Bring him in.
All right. Easy. Easy.
Mr. Gaines.
You're Harvey from the Mechanics Union, aren't you?
I tried to warn you. I tried to get away. He shot me 3 times.
Get a doctor. All right. Easy, Harvey. How long has this been building up?
It's the engineers. I told them they were crazy. Tell them the road's got to roll. When I tried to get away, they...
He's bleeding from the mouth, sir.
Harvey, can you hear me?
He's dead, Mr. Gaines.
Come on, Evans. We better move.
Hey,
All right, you men. You saw Harvey brought in. How many of you want a chance to kill the louse that did it? Very well. You men turn in your weapons and return to quarters. We've got a job to do. To make sure the roads start rolling again. We haven't got time for infantile heroics. Anybody who hasn't got his mind on his job will be in the way. Now, here's the order. We move north, mounted on tumblebugs. We're going to try to regain control, rota by rota, before Sacramento sector knows we're moving. We've got to capture any watch personnel we run on before they can get word back. Surprise is vital. Use tear gas when possible. Shoot only when necessary. But get them before they can reach a phone jack. Any questions? No. Then move out. What's the score, Edmonds?
33 prisoners so far, nobody killed.
Whoops. Yes, since I rode one of these tumblebugs, forgotten how to steer it.
Well, sir, there's a man ahead. There at the rota base.
Got a phone jacked in. Hurry. If he gets word back, we're sunk.
I don't think he's seen us. I'll dismount and get him.
Quick, he sees us.
Here, you.
Look out, he's got a gun.
Oh, I got him.
Grab his gun.
Yes.
You had a phone jacked in, all right. If he got through to Sacramento office, it's going to be tough.
I don't know, sir. Maybe he didn't get the call through.
Wait a minute. Listen.
The road.
Take off your noise filter. There. The road. The road is stopping. Halt your men.
Hold up there. Hold up.
There's a recon car coming up.
Relay station call for Mr. Gaines.
Give it to me.
Here you are, sir.
Gaines here.
Davison here, Chief. Van Cleek's calling you.
Who stopped the road?
He did.
All right. Cut Van Cleek into me.
You thought I was fooling, huh, Gaines? What do you think now?
All right, Van. The road is stopped. You won this trick.
Then why don't you get smart and give up? You can't win.
You forgot something, Van. You can't lick the whole country.
Yeah? Gaines, I've got a switch button in my hand. If I push it, it'll blow 300 yards straight across the roads. And then, for good measure, I'll take an axe and wreck the control station before I leave.
That's pretty drastic, Van.
Yeah, if I blow this charge in the middle of Sacramento sector, it'll get an awful lot of people. There are plenty of shopkeepers still on Strip 20, and that row of apartment houses next to the road will go.
Look, Van, you don't want to blow the road, neither do I. Suppose I come up to your headquarters and talk this over. Two reasonable men ought to be able to make a settlement.
Is this some kind of a trick?
I'll come alone and unarmed. My men will stay here.
All right. All right, Gaines. But one wrong move, and I blow the road.
We've got to hurry, Dave. If I take too long, Van Cleek will get edgy and set off that charge.
Failure report notes?
1, strips must be cross-connected with safety interlocks, so that when one dies, the others slow down. 2, the men.
I can't understand it. Psych tests are rigid. We've never had a failure in the Hum-Wadsworth-Burton method. And then suddenly a whole sector goes sour. How could Van Cleek get a whole crew of psych-cleared men to revolt?
It's easy, Dave. As my deputy, he was ex-officio personnel officer for the whole road. He must have been faking psych records for years and transferring maladjusted men into his sector.
I've got that personnel record, Mr. Gaines.
Man's record. Masked introvert. Inferiority rating 7. Comment. Despite a potential instability shown on Wadsworth Curve, this officer is especially adept in handling men. He's adept, all right. I haven't got time for any more, Dave.
You're not going up there to Sacramento office.
I've got to.
He'll be armed. He'll kill you.
I've got to take that chance.
But unarmed? Why don't you call in the Army? He won't dare blow the road.
Yes, he
then.
would. Look at that psych record. He's putting up a big, brave front, but he's rotten inside. He wants to be taken seriously. He wants everybody to think he's the most dangerous man in the country. And if I call the Army in, he'll try to prove it by blowing the road.
How can you stop him, Mr. Gaines? He'll have a gun. What'll you have?
What'll I have? Only a prayer. And what I know about Mr. Van Cleek.
All right, Gaines. Director Van Cleek will see you now. Gaines is here, Director Van Cleek.
Come in, Gaines. Behaving sensibly at last. You know I've got you where I want you, and there isn't anything you can do about it.
I searched him, Director. He's unarmed.
Mm-hmm. I want you to sign this now. It's a declaration of your recognition of the Engineers Control Committee. You've got 1 minute to sign it, Gaines, or I'll push this button and blow up the whole sector.
You better sign, Gaines.
You need this gorilla with the gun van?
Hey, you
Can't you handle one unarmed man alone?
All right, Harry, out.
What?
Out? Yeah. Okay. All right. Now sign. What's so funny?
You are. You start a revolution because you think the engineers should control the road. Then when you've got control, the only thing you can think of to do is blow it up. Tell me, what are you so scared of?
I'm not scared.
Yeah? Sitting there sweating all over that push button you're holding? Your buddies knew how afraid you were. They'd probably throw you into the rotors.
I'm not afraid.
You're afraid of me right now. You're afraid I'll have you on the carpet. You're afraid the cadets won't salute you. You're afraid they're laughing at you behind your back.
No, I'm not. Now, you keep quiet. I've got a gun.
You're afraid of using the wrong fork at dinner. You're afraid people are looking at you, laughing at you.
I am not, you dirty, stuck-up snob. Just because you went to a high-hat school, you think you're better than anybody, you and your crummy little gold-braid cadet.
Van, you're a pathetic little shrimp.
Huh?
I understand you perfectly. You're a third-rater.
Oh.
All your life you've been afraid that someone would see through you and send you to the foot of the class.
Oh, yeah.
Throw you right out on your ear where you belong.
Oh.
I don't want to look at you anymore.
I'll show you. I'll put a bullet in
Put
you.
down that pop gun before you hurt yourself.
Don't you come near me. Don't you come near me or I'll shoot. I'll shoot.
Give me that.
No. Let me go.
Give that pistol. Yeah. And thanks for not disappointing me, Van.
I don't understand.
I thought if I wounded your little ego, you'd forget to push that button and pull a trigger instead. I'm afraid you'll never make a good executive, Van. They have to know when to push buttons.
Davidson.
Gaines here.
Chief, are you all right? Are you?
I'm all right. Attack now and mop up. I'll hold the control room. I've got Van Cleek, and I think his little revolution is just about over.
Hear them hum, watch them run. Oh, our job is never done, for our roadways go rolling along. While you ride, while you glide, we are watching down inside, so your roadways keep rolling along.
Mr. Gaines. Mr. Gaines.
Mr. Evans, I forgot about you.
Yes, I've been waiting at the sector office. Is everything under control?
All rolling. Those are the watch engineers going under to check Sacramento sector inch by inch.
Remarkable organization. Remarkable.
Hourly's in, Chief. San Diego Circle rolling. Bakersfield, Fresno, Stockton.
Stockton? Oh, no.
What's the matter, Chief?
Trouble, Mr. Gaines?
Sure is. I promised to meet my wife at Stockton for a show. She's been waiting there since 9 o'clock last night. Dave, see if you can get her for me. Try the sector office.
All right, Chief.
And Dave, see if you can calm her down.
Oh, sure, Chief. I'll tell her the roads must roll.
No, don't tell her that. I don't think she'd appreciate it. She's heard it too often. I better get going. Bye, Dave. Keep them rolling.
Anywhere you go, you are bound to know that your roadways go rolling along. Keep them rolling, that your roadways go rolling along. Keep them rolling, that your roadways go rolling along. Keep them rolling, that your roadways go rolling along. Keep them rolling.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was an NBC Radio Network production.
When Mrs. Gregory and Captain Bradford were taken into the communication chamber on the 5th level of the Magic Island, they saw something almost unbelievable. From G-47's prism reflectors, they have actually seen the inside of a submarine many miles away, in which Jerry and Joan are being taken to witness the capture of Johnson's boat. The Euclideans have perfected television, as they have everything else, and Mrs. Gregory and the captain were forced to see and hear everything, as the submarine commander turned her ray guns on Joan and Jerry to silence them. The rays were only sleep-producing ones, however, and as we look into the submarine, we find Jerry and Joan just recovering from the effects.
I told you, Jerry, not to talk so much.
Well, anyway, we both got put to sleep with that ray gun, and I'm getting tired of falling over whenever one of these Euclideans feels like watching me take a tumble.
Now, Jerry, please do not make remarks about the Euclideans. The Commander S1 can hear all we say, and so can SE1, the engineer. You are only making it more difficult for us.
You are right, Cleostra. I have found that you two are not entirely trustworthy, however, and must now take further precautions to ensure your remaining quietly in the stern while I continue my observations here.
What's she going to do with us now?
Silence. You, Cleostra, will open the small cabinet on your left. You will sponge the hands and shoes of young Hall and yourself with the liquid from the cabinet.
Hey, wait a minute. Do you know what that stuff is?
Yes, Jerry. It is the magnetic paint, and once we have it on, we cannot move while the commander keeps the magnets active in this section.
Oh, so. My girlfriend, the commander, is just as tough as anybody else from that crazy island.
I warned you, Jerry. Commander S1 is a Euclidean.
Gee, a beautiful girl like that with just a number for a name. What a life.
I wish you would not keep calling her a beautiful girl.
Well, she is. I don't care if she is plenty tough with us. That don't spoil her looks any. She's a swell-looking girl.
She is not a girl. She's terribly old, Jerry.
Huh? How old?
22 years.
Gee, 22. Is she really?
Yes, Jerry. She was given this command on her 21st birthday, nearly 2 years ago.
Gosh, that lets her out then. 22's pretty old.
I'm so glad to hear you say that, Jerry. 15 is a nice age, is it not?
Yeah, it's all right. Kind of young, though. But by the time I'm 21, you'll be 20. That won't be so bad. Oh, but I guess we'd better quit talking about her. She can hear all we say, and she's liable to crack down on us again.
No, Jerry. S1 has closed the transparent housing around the central control chamber. We're quite free to talk now.
But we can see her just as plain as day.
That is more of the transparent steel, and transparent from either side. S1 can see us as well as we see her.
Then we'd better be careful not to make faces at her. Can she tell us she switched on the microphones in this end of the sub so she can hear what we're talking about?
Yes, Jerry. That large green tube at her right will glow when the microphones are active, and the red tube when the transmitter is working.
Boy, what a setup. And to think your mother and Tex really saw us and heard us way out here on this boat.
They will be very worried about us, Jerry, if they were watching when the commander used the ray gun on us.
Oh, don't worry so much. Your mother and Tex Bradford are a couple of the smartest people I ever saw. And if they saw us get laid out with those ray guns, you can bet they kept right on looking till they saw us wake up again.
I hope you are right, Jerry.
Hey, I'm always right. Pretty near.
Yes, Jerry.
Okay. Now let's quit jabbering about nothing and get down to brass tacks.
Brass tacks?
Oh, I mean, let's get down to business. Talk about what we're going to try to do and how we're going to do it when we get to Johnson's boat.
I think it will be quite useless to plan anything. We will just have to wait until the occasion arises and then take the course which appears most suitable under the conditions existing at the moment.
Boy, I got that one. We wait for the brakes and then jump in, huh?
Jump in the brakes?
Oh, you're getting in my hair. Look, and listen. I mean, we'll do what we think is best when we get a chance to do anything.
I think it would be better to sit quietly and wait for the commander's orders. There is nothing of value that we can do, Jerry.
Oh, don't be too sure about that. For one thing, you ought to know how they handle these subs. So, well, what will the commander do when we get near Johnson's boat?
She will order Johnson to surrender.
Oh, swell. But what then? Suppose Johnson does surrender. How do we get his boat to the island?
If he refuses to run his boat to Euclidia, S1 will sink it with all on board.
Oh, no, she won't. G47 wants the scientific apparatus and Captain Bradford's materials on board that boat.
You may be right, Jerry. G47 wants those things badly, And the commander will make every effort to get the boat to Euclidia.
But what if Johnson refuses to give up the boat?
He will not refuse. Remember that you told him to come to the island when the commander made you send the message.
Yeah, but I stuck a few words in that message so Johnson will know things aren't so good with us. And for the homing pigeon is on his way to Johnson's boat. Johnson will have a lot of tricks figured out before we get to him.
Any trick Johnson might try would only endanger our lives, Jerry. I am sure the commander will find a way to compel Johnson to bring the boat to the island. Through you.
Me? Well, how can she do that?
There are many ways. We shall see.
Well, if I get a chance to talk to Johnson before we get too close to the island, I'll bet he'll figure some way to give old G47 a headache.
Enough of such nonsense.
Gee, she heard us.
The green tube is lighted. We were careless, Jerry.
That is natural with worldly fools. You, Cleostra, should know that only Euclideans are perfect.
Okay, we'll keep quiet, Commander.
I wish you to come forward to the control section. You also, Cleostra.
What do you suppose she wants now?
We must go quickly and find out.
All right. Take this transparent steel wall out of the way. I'm not so good at walking through steel walls.
You are not good at anything. Particularly are your powers of observation not good. The wall has been removed.
So it has, Jerry.
Well, golly whiskers. How could I tell?
You could not, though an intelligent person would.
Oh, thanks for the violets. Come on, Joan.
Be very careful, Jerry, and do nothing to make S1 angry.
Oh, never mind. I know what I'm doing.
You may sit there, Cleostra. Touch nothing and say nothing. You, Hall, will sit here.
Right here?
Yes, there.
Well, here I am. What do I do now?
Look at this chart. Our position is here. The position of Johnson's boat is there. Check those at once and assure me you agree with the position of Johnson as given in the last message we received from him.
Right. I'll check it.
Do not try to do anything except what you are told, Jerry.
I got it. It's just where Johnson gave his last position.
Good. We will now contact Johnson again and get his present position. If my indicators are correct as to the speed with which he is approaching us, he should be at latitude 27 degrees, 29 to 30 minutes south.
Gee, how can you tell that?
You will notice the needle swaying in this indicator.
Yeah?
This is recording the increase in volume of the exhaust of Johnson's motors as his boat nears us. His exact speed is the square root of the dial reading on that indicator, the result being in degrees per hour.
Jumping catnip. This is sure slick. What do I do now?
You will take over this microphone as before. On the red tube glow, raise Johnson and speak to him as if you were on the yacht at the island. Check his exact position.
Well, do I go now?
You may speak when this red tube glows. Remember your instructions. Reassure Johnson that all is well with your party, but that you need his boat to leave the island with, and ask for his exact position. Ready? Silence, Cleostra.
I understand.
J24Y to J12C. Jerry Hall on J24Y to Johnson on J12C. Hello, J12. Hello, J12C. J12C. Hello, J12. Jerry Hall on J24Y.
J12C
or
to
Bradford to
J24Y. Hello, Jerry. Johnson on J12C to Jerry Hall on J24Y. Go ahead, J24Y.
Please check your exact speed and position and give me at once. We must be prepared for your exact time of arrival at island. How soon can I have exact position? Your boat. Go ahead, J12C.
Am exactly 27 degrees, 30 minutes south, making 35 knots on course due south to island. Check island position back to me. Go ahead, J24Y.
Okay, J12C. Your position, 27 degrees, 30 minutes south. You are making 35 knots. Island position, 29 degrees south. Does that check?
Repeat of my position, okay. Position of island, okay. But cannot understand reception of your beam with strength in it. Where are you getting power for generator if yacht is crippled? Last message from you said yacht total wreck. Can you explain that, Hall?
Can't explain now. Keep coming. We'll report to Bradford your position and speed. That is all, J-12C. That is all.
Hold it, Hall. Your last message said the bosun was ill. Reassure him all is well. Get that, Hall.
Hey, what did you turn that generator off for? I wanted to hear what Johnson had to say about the bosun.
I realize that, but it will do you no good to hear more about it, nor will it aid Johnson.
Oh, is that so? Well, there's a couple of things you don't know.
Silence. I'm completing my calibration of Johnson's speed and position with relation to ours. He is making 35 knots, we 25. His position is 27:30, ours 28:15. We will be directly under Johnson's boat in exactly 45 minutes. You will be free to observe the meeting and the Euclidean method of handling such trifling details.
Oh, you may not find it so trifling if Johnson's all set for you.
Please be careful, Jerry. Say nothing.
I won't have to say anything. Johnson will do all that.
If you think you are going to surprise me because that homing pigeon you call the bosun will arrive at Johnson's boat before we do, you underestimate my intelligence.
Jerry, she knew about the pigeon.
Naturally. And what can Johnson do with the message he will take from the pigeon?
Why, gee, I guess he can't do anything with it.
Precisely. So you see, my young fool, in 45 minutes we will have Johnson, boat, pigeon, formula, and all.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P, Pep. Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, presents
The Adventures of Superman. Today, as we conclude our story of Herbert Calkins, we shall learn whether or not Superman has been able to protect the most important secret of his life, the secret of his double identity.
Hello there, gang. This is your pal Dan McCullough. You know, old man Son sure is on the beam these summer days. Why, he shows up at breakfast time almost as regular as clockwork. Sheds good old cheer all over the place. And, gang, if you want to be on the beam, too, latch on to Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal. There's a smooth, golden toasted treat that is a treat. Crisp, delicate flakes of real whole wheat, full to the brim with slick, terrific flavor. It's a keen flavor, a delicious flavor, a come-on flavor that keeps your spoon coming right back for more. Makes you want to dig right in and polish the bowl clean as a whistle. And that's the right idea these days, you know. It's mighty important to get the good out of every bit of your breakfast dish of Kellogg's Pep. Because it's good for you. And because it's not smart to waste cereal, particularly nowadays. Because whole wheat is one of the cereal grains picked out to send to fellows and girls all over the world. Think of that, gang, when Mom brings Kellogg's Pep home from the grocer's. Make sure there's no waste at your house. If you pour your own Pep, take time to pour it carefully and eat up every bit you pour out. And say, kind of keep an eye on your younger brothers and sisters, too. Just make sure you eat all your Pep. Don't waste it.
Now, the adventures of Superman. After much exercise of his wits and great powers to prevent Herbert Calkins, famous ex-Scotland Yard detective, from proving a conviction that Clark Kent and Superman are one, Kent grew tired of inventing ruse after ruse. Realizing that the shrewd, doggedly tenacious Englishman might, perhaps accidentally, expose him at some time or other, especially when he discovered Calkins about to find a secret closet in his bedroom in which was indisputable evidence of his double identity, Kent decided on a once-and-for-all desperate gamble. Enlisting the aid of Bruce Wayne, who was really the famous Batman, he sent him into the apartment with orders to keep Calkins away from the secret closet. Then, as Superman, he streaked away on a secret mission. In a last-ditch attempt to keep Calkins out of Kent's bedroom, Wayne fast-talked the detective into playing a game of checkers, during which the Englishman brewed and served tea. Suddenly, Wayne's eyes grew heavy. His head drooped. And before losing consciousness, he gasped.
Calkins, the tea. What did you put in this tea?
Why, tea, of course, old boy.
No, you drugged me.
Oh, sorry, old man, but I had to do it, you know. Had an idea you were deliberately stalling me, and I must have a look at what's behind the secret panel in that bedroom before Kent returns. Pleasant dreams.
While his friend Bruce Wayne has so valiantly but vainly been trying to keep Herbert Calkins occupied, Clark Kent, as Superman, has been literally streaking around the world, working faster than ever before in his career. Holding a sheet of paper and an envelope in his hand, he went rocketing first to the North Pole. Wow, it's cold. Bitter cold. Almost too cold even for me. But if my idea works on Calkins, it'll be well worth it. Well, I guess this paper and envelope have been exposed to the sub-zero temperature long enough. Now for a few minutes of the other extreme. This sun over the Sahara Desert is hot enough to broil a steak and practically nothing flat. Sure is doing a job on this paper and envelope, too. Better give them a dose of humidity before they dry to dust. Let's see now. Where can I... Oh, yes. The jungle should do the trick fine. Traveling with the speed of light, Superman, still clutching the all-important sheet of paper and an envelope, plummeted to the heart of the African jungle. After a short pause, he rocketed once again into the skies, headed eastward. Fighting a monsoon off the coast of India, he dove headlong into it. Then, fighting his way out, headed back toward the California shore and continued eastward toward Metropolis. Meanwhile, back in Kent's apartment, Herbert Calkins is making sure Bruce Wayne is fast asleep.
I say, Wayne. Get to the world, poor chap. Now to continue investigating what's behind that secret panel in Kent's room. I got an idea there's something most interesting in there. And if it's what I think it may be, I'll have Mr. Clark Kent dead to rights as Superman. Well, here we go.
Stepping away from the table where Bruce Wayne lies sleeping heavily, Herbert Calkins moves swiftly to the closed door of Kent's bedroom. At almost the same moment, Superman plummets out of the sky and in through his open bedroom window.
Uh-oh, not a moment too soon. This calls for super speed and plenty of it and then some.
Moving faster than the human eye can follow, Superman folds the sheet of paper into the envelope. Then, placing it in the tiny closet behind the secret panel, he flings himself out of the open window just as Calkins opens the door.
Now to find that blooming secret panel again. Here's the little button that controls it. Press it. So. It opens. Hello? An envelope. Let's see what's in it. To whom it may concern. I, Clark Kent, being a
As Superman, hiding on a ledge outside the window, watches him, the former Scotland Yard ace detective slowly reads what has been written on the paper. Then, shaking his head, he replaces it in the secret closet, closes the panel, and leaves Kent's apartment. A short time later, Superman, again in his guise as Clark Kent, has succeeded in awakening his drugged friend.
Imagine me, fat man, letting that gumshoe slip knockout drops into my tea under my very nose.
Oh, relax, Bruce. You couldn't help it. Besides, everything's worked out fine.
Well, what do you mean?
I think Mr. Calkins is now out of my hair for good, Bruce.
Well, what makes you think so?
Because of Clark Kent's will, which I made out this evening and placed in the secret closet just in time. A will bequeathing my few possessions to Jim, Lois, and Mr. White, and my library to Superman.
To Superman?
Right. If I were Superman, I would hardly leave my library to myself, would I?
No, of course not.
And I dated the will 1940. 6 years ago. That was long before I ever heard of friend Calkins.
Oh, Clark, I thought you were smarter than that. Calkins is a top-notch detective.
Well?
He could tell from the condition of the ink and paper that the will wasn't made out 6 years ago.
Ah, but it looks as if it were. You see, I exposed it to an aging process.
What are you talking about?
I exposed the will first to the freezing temperature of the North Pole, the hot and humid air of the African jungles, a monsoon I found off India, and to the dry baking heat of the Sahara Desert.
Great Lucifer. All that and back here in time to plan it for Calkins in half an hour?
Well, I can move pretty fast when I have to.
Oh, you sure can. But how about Calkins? Was he fooled?
He certainly acted as if he were. I was watching him from outside the window and saw his eyes practically pop out of his head when he read it. Then he examined it for a long time, shaking his head all the while. Finally, he said,
"Curses, by Jove, I was fooled."
Something like that. Then he walked back into the living room, picked up his derby and umbrella, Darby, that is, stepped over your unconscious legs.
Oh, don't remind me of that.
And walked out of my apartment and out of my life, I hope.
Oh, Clark, I've got to hand it to you. Say, if only I could have seen his face when he read that will. He was so sure you were Superman.
If only he knew how right he is. Well, all's well that ends well.
Yeah.
So... Oh, excuse me, Bruce. That's my doorbell.
Maybe it's Calkins come back to apologize.
Oh.
Yes? You Mr. Kent?
That's right.
Special messenger service. I got this letter for you. Sign here, please.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Good night, sir.
Good night. Well, I wonder who this is from.
Maybe from Superman telling you to keep your old library.
It might be. Bruce,
Yeah?
it's from Calkins.
It is?
Yes, listen. Dear Mr. Kent, first off, I wish you'd convey my apologies to your friend Mr. Wayne for my rather hasty and unsportsmanlike conduct tonight.
Not a bad invitation.
Thanks. I might add, however, that the drug is entirely harmless.
Thanks for nothing.
I must apologize, too, for all the inconvenience I caused you. But in 30 years at Scotland Yard, I have never failed to get my man. And my pride would not permit me to fail on my greatest case.
Well, he failed this time.
Thank heavens. Listen, now that my mission has been completed successfully...
Successfully?
Hey, that's funny. Now that my mission has been completed successfully, I'm returning to England. Believe me, sir, your most respectful and devoted servant, Herbert Archibald Calkins.
Clark, what does he mean by saying his mission is successfully completed?
I don't know. I can't understand it, Bruce.
Apparently that will gag didn't fool him after all.
I was sure it did.
Well, it couldn't have, though. Great Lucifer, what do we do now? If he publishes his book proving that you're Superman...
No, he can't. He mustn't. Come on, Bruce. We've got to find Mr. Calkins, and fast. Get into your Batman costume.
Again, deeply alarmed, Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne resumed their identities of Superman and Batman and dash out to hunt for Calkins. We'll return in a moment for the exciting climax of today's episode. So stand by.
You know, gang, this week's pet dish of the week sure is going great guns. Maybe that's because it's a blueberry bullseye. Yes, sir, the dish of the week is blueberry bullseye. And is it a whiz-bang breakfast treat? Now, here's how you line up this tasty target. Start with your regular serving of Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine cereal. Heap a mound of juicy, fresh blueberries, slap bang in the center. Add cool milk and sugar, and then fire away. Your blueberry bullseye is right in range. And let me just say, those crisp, delicate flakes of Pep, teamed up with fresh, juicy berries, are sure lure for your taste. Why, if you've been around from here to there, you've found that Pep always hits the mark with its right slick sunshine flavor. Always tastes so super that, well, you can't wait to polish off every last spoonful in your bowl. And you know, these days especially, that's definitely the right angle. Because nowadays, the cereal grains are being sent to give their swell grain nourishment to fellows and girls overseas. Remember, when Mom brings Kellogg's Pep home from the grocer's, make sure there's no waste at your house. If you pour your own Pep, pour it carefully and eat up every bit you pour out. Pass the word along to the rest of your family, too. Make it a habit to eat all your Pep. Don't waste it.
Superman and Batman have trailed Herbert Calkins, the Scotland Yard detective, to his hotel, to the home of the British consul, to a restaurant, to a steamship representative at another hotel. And now, at 8 o'clock in the morning, once more in their guises of Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne, have just arrived at a pier on the waterfront where a large steamer is preparing to hoist its anchor. At the foot of the gangplank, his derby hat swirly on his head, his rolled umbrella firmly in his hand, they find Mr. Herbert Calkins.
Say, it's jolly nice of you chaps to come down to see me off.
Oh, never mind that, Mr. Calkins. Tell me what you meant in your letter about your case being successfully completed.
Yes, what do you mean by successfully?
Oh, so it is. Everything is completely satisfactory.
What do you mean?
Well, I discovered to my utter satisfaction that you are not Superman.
Oh, you mean that...
I mean that successfully completed my case, by Jove.
Wait a minute.
Oh, I'm about to raise the blooming gangplank. Cheerio, you chaps.
Cheerio.
If ever you're in London, be sure to look me up.
You bet we will.
Roaring with relieved laughter, Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne wave glad farewell to Herbert Archibald Calkins, then walk off arm in arm, still laughing, to the nearest restaurant for breakfast. A short time later, still chuckling, Kent enters the strangely quiet city room of the Daily Planet, stops short as Beanie Martin, the copy boy, rushes at him.
Hi, Beanie. Where are you rushing to?
Well, Mr. Kent, I've been looking all over for you. You've got to do something.
What do you mean? What's wrong?
We can't get in. The door's locked. Gee willikers, Mr. Kent.
Can't get in where? What door?
Mr. White's office. Holy smokes. Maybe he's being murdered or committing a murder or something.
What?
Yeah, we can't get in the office. You got to do something, Mr. Kent. You just gotta, and fast.
Great Scott. Come on, Beanie.
Startled, Clark Kent rushes across the long Daily Planet city room toward Editor Perry White's office, outside which the entire Daily Planet editorial staff is gathered fearfully. What is happening? Something of tremendous importance is taking place in Editor White's office. something which will have a profound effect on Superman and his friends and involve them in one of the most exciting adventures of their careers. So don't miss tomorrow's episode, gang, when we begin a brand new and thrilling Superman story, full of action, mystery, and suspense. Be sure to tune in tomorrow, same time, same station.
And remember, for breakfast, it's Kellogg's Pep.
For excitement, the adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC comic magazines and is brought to you Monday through Friday at the same time by Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal. Say, gang, talk about famous names. Why, Kellogg is the greatest name in cereals. And Kellogg makes Kellogg shredded wheat, crisp, tender biscuits that are full up with natural nut-sweet flavor, toasted the Kellogg way, just right. Mighty good for breakfast and mighty good for you. They're whole wheat. Mom knows Kellogg shredded wheat is economical, too. You get 15 biscuits in every package. They're made to fit the bowl. Ask Mother to get you some Kellogg shredded wheat. And be sure to be with us tomorrow for the thrilling adventures of Superman. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Escape tonight to Paris of 500 years ago. The Columbia Broadcasting System and its affiliated stations presents Escape, a new series of programs of which this, the fifth, is The Sire de Maltroits d'Or by Robert Louis Stevenson, produced and directed by William N. Robeson. The pen of Robert Louis Stevenson has been an avenue of escape for 3 generations. Our grandparents thrilled to the macabre metamorphosis of Dr. Jekyll, just as we will never forget the nursery menace called Long John Silver. Tonight we escape with Robert Louis Stevenson down another avenue, which leads to Paris in 1429, and the amazing adventure of the Sire de Maltroits d'Or.
Dark of the Moon, 1429, Paris. The House of Burgundy holds the throne of France, and English men-at-arms patrol the narrow streets. Troublous times for any man to be lost, on foot, at night.
You there! Over here. Here by the wall.
What's this? Now the shadows themselves are speaking.
I'm no shadow.
A real live human being.
I've managed to get myself lost in these confounded alleys. Can you tell me where I am?
Well, now, a fine young cavalier, no less. And he's lost.
I'm trying to find the Beau-Saint Inn. Will this street lead me there?
That one street is as good as another, and none of them will ever lead a man anywhere.
Oh, come now. You must know something about this part of Paris. Think, man, a patrol may pass at any moment.
You're wanted, then.
I have a safe conduct pass from the captain of the garrison.
Safe conduct, he says. And to find what a good that'll do you here in the dark of the night.
Well, you're certainly not helping my chances any.
No, lad. The only safe conduct you have is that sword swinging at your side.
Wait, quiet. A patrol. They're coming this way.
I'm inclined to think you're right.
I've got to run for it. Tell them nothing.
Well, I should tell what to whom.
Wait, halt! Someone's there. Speak up. Who are you?
Speak up, is it? And you a blundering pack of 2-day grenadiers that walk like a herd of cattle such as me? Speak up. That served with the mad Prince Charlie himself. May he rest in peace.
An old campaigner, eh? Where you from, soldier?
Fontainebleau, from a smarter outfit in bivouac than the likes of you in quarters.
A bit in the scups, eh, man? Seen anybody about, old-timer?
Naught but shadows and tankards of ale. Fine French cavalier who departed hence without a bio-lead just now.
Where'd he go?
Oh, who knows? Perhaps he went one way, maybe the other. Though I think it was the other there.
All right, men. French cavalier, eh? We'll have him like a fowl in a spit.
Spread out. Cover the streets. Keep an eye out. Don't let it slip away between you. Forward now. Touch every corner.
Oh, the fool. The drunken fool. I'm for it now, all right. This cross street. There's a bare chance they'll pass it by. If I can only get through here. Oh, no. It's a dead end, unless this leads... No, it's only the door to a house. Caught like a rat in a trap. All right. If it's so written, then so be it. With a bit of luck, there'll be 2 or 3 go with me. Huh? The door. It's unlocked. I can push it open. Black as the mouth of hell inside. Well, what have I got to lose?
Alive now. You have to be here someplace. Turn up that door, you dog! Can't you see the crap above it?
He's not here. He's gone.
Yeah, that he has. Didn't come in here after all. All right, back to the corner. He's a sly one for sure.
That was close. Too close. Now to get out of here, and no one in the house will ever be the wiser. Huh? What's this? The door's locked. Well, it's a trap. But why? Why would such a thing be done? I came in here by chance, 1 chance against 1,000,000. Wait. It's a light. Somewhere inside the house. Well, by all rights, I should be dead at this moment. So...
Come in, young man. I've been expecting you all evening.
I fear you must be mistaken, sir. My visit is quite unexpected for both of us.
That's good. That's very good. For the both of us, you say. Well, no matter. You're here. That's the main point. Take a seat, my boy. Put yourself at ease. We'll arrange our little affairs presently.
There seems to be some misunderstanding. You see, your door was standing...
Oh, the door. That was a little piece of ingenuity. Don't you agree?
So you must know that I had no intention of intruding without an invitation.
Without an invitation, is it? Well, we old people are used to such reluctance. When it touches our honor, we cast about until we find some way of overcoming it. And so, my boy, invitation or not, you are, believe me, most welcome.
I hope you'll pardon my saying it, but I haven't the slightest idea what you're talking about.
Oh, so that's it. Dead to rights, but still pretending, eh? You're a clever rogue.
Sir,
Right.
My name is Denis de Beaulieu. I am not a guest in your house by my own choice, and I am not accustomed to being...
Nor is the house of Maltroits accustomed to certain things, of which you well know.
Maltroits? I should have expected better treatment at the hands of one of the most honored families of France.
Honored indeed, until you, Monsieur de Beaulieu, took it upon yourself to dishonor us.
Sire de Maltroits, I have attempted to explain that I took a stand before your door to fight off a patrol which I'd encountered in the street. I assure you I had no slight intention of forcing myself Since it seems impossible for you to converse with any degree of reason, may I bid you good night? Sir, if you have your right wits, then you're insulting me grossly. And if not, I have no desire to spend further time with a lunatic.
You young fool. Thinking to get away so easily.
No power on earth can make me stay here any longer, even if I'm forced to hack that door of yours to pieces.
Ay me. And now, will you please sit down, my dear nephew?
Nephew? You lie in your teeth.
I said sit down. You think for a minute that I made a little contrivance for the door and stopped short with that? You want to be bound hand and foot until your bones crack inside of you, then get up. Try to get away. But if you'd rather stay a free young buck, agreeably conversing with an old gentleman, sit where you are in peace.
You mean, then, I'm a prisoner here?
I stated the facts. Draw your own conclusions. Ah, Pierre Francois, come in.
Thank you, Miss Sire.
Tell me, how is she? A little better frame of mind, I hope?
She is more resigned, at least, Messiah.
Well, now, isn't she hard to please? A likely stripling such as this, well-born, and her own choice. What more would the jade wolf have, hmm?
If you'll pardon, the situation is not usual for a young damsel. It is somewhat trying to her blushes.
Trying, is it? Ha! She should have thought of that before the dance began. She called the turns, and now she'll do the pay.
At the risk of being presumptuous, may I ask who she is?
Ha! You hear that, Père François? Monsieur de Beaulieu wishes to know who she is.
I heard, Messiah.
I am pleased that you find my most casual remark so amusing.
So, you'd like to know who she is. Very well. After all, you really should know, young fella. It's only fitting for you to be introduced properly. Come along. I'll take you into she, all right. Why, that's the reason I planned the whole thing. You stubborn young scoundrelly blackguard. Come along, my boy. Right through this door.
After you, sir, if you don't mind.
Oh, no. It's not that kind of a trap. Here we are. How are you, my dear?
Oh, please, Uncle. Please, there's some pity on me.
Pity? But I do a great deal more than you've shown for the name of Maltroits. Come now, up off your knees and look at the friend I brought you. It's good to be devout, but it is also necessary to be polite.
I have no understanding how you can be so vicious.
Oh, that's very unkind. And now, Monsieur de Beaulieu, since we've decided to keep up this farce, allow me to present my niece, Blanche de Maltroits.
It's such an inhuman thing, surely heaven itself. He's not the man. My uncle, this is not the man.
Expected you to say as much, my dear. Is it so unfortunate you couldn't remember his name?
It's true. I swear by the Blessed Virgin, I do not know this man. I've never laid eyes on him before. Please do tell him. Tell him we've never seen each other before.
For myself, at any rate, I've never had that pleasure. Sire, I've not met your lovely niece before this moment.
Oh, now isn't that too bad? But it's never too late to begin. Quite often these impromptu marriages turn out very well in the end.
Marriage? Sire de Maltroits, would you please be kind enough to explain what you mean?
Aha, now, surely you've heard of the custom of marriage. It's quite widely practiced.
At least, sir, I've never heard before of such a maniac as I perceive you to be. And I've no intention of marrying anyone.
Then may I ask what were your intentions, my boy? Oh, well, no matter now. Père François is looking forward to performing the nuptial rites. Oh, he's quite properly ordained, you know. So, shall we say, in 2 hours? Meanwhile, I suggest you become better acquainted.
Wait. Uncle, you can't be in earnest. I swear to you I'll kill myself before I'll be forced on this young man.
Forced? Now, come now, my dear Blanche.
Is it possible that you think I'm lying? That you still believe this is the man?
Frankly, I do.
Well, then you're wrong.
I refuse utterly even to consider...
Enough, my dear. You took it upon yourself to dishonor the name of our family. You forfeited all right whatsoever to question my designs. I consider it a duty to see that you're married with as little delay as possible. Out of the goodness of my heart, I've attempted to find the man of your choice. And I believe I've done so. But if not, then I care not one jackstraw. Is that perfectly clear?
It's clear, sir, that you're a madman.
Perhaps, my dear nephew.
I'm not your nephew, nor will I be.
I'd sooner die 1,000 times.
Oh, such a fury against the inevitable. But at any rate, you have 2 hours to compose your differences. Père François, bring the clock.
Very well, Messiah.
Thank you. Place it there. This, Monsieur de Beaulieu, is another of my little contrivances, and one that is hardly less ingenious than my door.
Sire, your accomplishments are of no interest to me whatsoever.
Oh, I think you'll find this one most interesting. You will notice that the upper container is filled with water. In exactly 2 hours, all of the water will have dripped into the lower vessel, And at that time, I shall return. Remove the plug, Père Francois. Clever, isn't it? Well, genius is so rarely appreciated. And now I'm quite sure you'll sooner carry on your interview without an audience.
You'd never met my uncle before? He didn't arrange this with you?
I'd never laid eyes on him. And certainly nothing was arranged with me, else I wouldn't be here.
Oh, then you're as much an unfortunate victim as myself.
But you at least must be more aware of the circumstances. I can understand none of this.
It's not an easy thing for a girl to tell. Whatever you may think of me now, I fear you shall think the worse when I've finished.
Words are but words. But your manner encourages respect.
Thank you, monsieur. I've lived all my life with my uncle, and I've not been happy. 3 months ago, a young captain of the guard began to stand near me in the church. Oh, you must understand. I gave him no encouragement to do so.
Oh, quite so, I understand. He was handsome, of course.
As a matter of fact, very.
Mm.
After a while, he began to pass me notes. He found me pleasing, wanted to meet me, and seemed most interested in me for some reason.
I can believe that.
This morning, he passed me a note urging me to leave the outer door open tonight so that he could speak a few words with me on the stairs. Oh, this is most difficult for me to tell, monsieur. I'm sure he meant no harm. I've no idea how my uncle came to suspect. Sometimes his shrewdness becomes almost diabolical. After church, he took that note from my hand, read it, gave it back to me. I've been kept in my room all day, knowing nothing of what he might be planning.
So that's it. By pure accident, I've blundered into a trap set for someone else.
Had my uncle brought the captain himself, the thing still would have been confusing. How should I know that he may not have been trifling with me all along? But to be forced into a situation with you, a perfect stranger...
Your regard for me is quite clear, mademoiselle. I regret appearing as a disappointment to you. I believe you said he was very handsome?
If that were all.
There's more?
I mean, monsieur, that you yourself are quite handsome.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so... Oh, no, it's really no use.
Well, please understand me. I'm not urging you in any way.
Urging, monsieur?
I'm accustomed to meeting young ladies upon occasion who are quite ready to accept me as something besides a convenient substitute for some handsome captain of the guard.
I've no doubt of it, monsieur. And to correct a mistaken impression you seem to have, I'm well aware that you're doing no urging. And were you to do so, I should neither listen to nor give it any consideration whatsoever. It's well that we both understand one another.
Quite so. And that being the case, Mademoiselle de Maltroits, I wonder if you'll be good enough to conduct me to your uncle.
With the greatest of pleasure, monsieur.
I've no doubt but what this little matter can be settled very quickly, and with as much honor as possible to everybody concerned.
The full 2 hours weren't necessary. Already harmonious accord rises triumphant.
On the contrary, Sire de Maltroits, your assumption is entirely false.
Oh, what a pity. Well, Père Francois, there's nothing to it. We'll simply have to wait a while longer.
As you say, Messiah.
I fear it may be much longer than you think. In fact, forever.
That's a very long time indeed. And you, my dear niece, what are your sentiments in the matter?
I will not marry this man. Do what you may, uncle, I will not marry him.
Right back where we started. Can it be that our young friend is lacking in perception, Père Francois?
It is possible, Messiah.
I'm not at any rate lacking in a sense of honorable conduct. Dragged in here against my will, I've addressed your niece in the manner of a gentleman. I found her charming, lovely, delightful.
Monsieur.
But now I have the honor of declining your offer of her hand. Let that end the matter.
It's not as simple as that. Take a look from my window there, and tell me what you see on the wall beneath it.
What do you mean?
See for yourself.
Whatever it is can have no bearing on the matter. There's an iron ring set in the wall.
Quite so, and fastened to the ring?
A rope.
Right. So we have two elements. And to complete our little diagram, we need a third one. That element is, at the moment, firmly attached to your body. I'm referring, sir, to your neck.
Uncle, no.
And may I inquire the purpose of the dogs there in the courtyard below? Are they also a part of your devilish plans?
My dear young man, a body doesn't hang in ropes forever, you know.
You maniac. Even murder doesn't stop you.
Oh, that's such a nasty word. Let us confine ourselves to the bald facts. At the end of your 2 hours, you will prepare yourself either to marry my niece or to kick out your life while you swing at the end of that rope. There's no other alternative.
I think there's one. Between gentlemen, at any rate. Arm yourself, sir.
You fool. You think for a moment that if I regarded your sword as a threat, you'd still be wearing it? Père Francois, will you open that door to the passage, please?
Of course, Messire. I'll be most happy to.
Gentlemen, show this rash young buck the color of your steel. Whether he likes to admit it or not, Monsieur de Beaulieu, one day a man grows too old to fight his own battles and must hire others to do it for him. Close the door, Père Francois.
Then you'll not fight?
Do I seem a fool? There'll be no fighting and no haughty refusal to marry my niece. You found her charming. Well and good. But I'll tell you this. Were she as common as the Paris road, more hideous than the gargoyle over my door, you'd not spurn the hand of a Maltroits and never live to tell of it. Alive and married you'll be, or dead and hanging from that window, and soon after, food for the dogs. It's one or the other. So, make up your mind.
Please, Monsieur de Beaulieu, why do you not sit down?
Your concern is most gratifying, mademoiselle. Since I have such a short time to live, I doubt that I'll grow very tired.
If the time be short, then why do we waste it in formal speech?
As you will. Listen to him. Drip, drip, drip. That devilish clock, like an artery opened and life's blood itself dripping away.
Well, I've sat here and thought until my whole mind's in a great whirl.
Please, you really shouldn't trouble yourself so much.
I can't bear to have you slain for my sake. Monsieur de Beaulieu, I will marry you gladly.
You must think, then, that I stand very much in fear of death.
Oh, no. I've had reason to see that you're no coward.
I've asked for no pity. If a thing has to be, then that's the end of it.
Oh, sir, you misunderstood me. Why, the great nobility with which you faced my uncle should have removed all question about your bravery had such doubts existed.
That is most kind of you to say so.
Not, of course, that anyone could raise such questions once they've seen you.
Death's another incident. That's all.
Oh, but life's a better one. You'll agree, then?
I'm afraid you underrate the difficulty. What your generosity offers me, my pride prevents accepting. In this moment of noble feeling toward me, aren't you forgetting what you already owe to someone else?
Monsieur, he never really mattered.
Mademoiselle, my very life's the forfeit here. One I'll pay gladly if it be of service to a lady, but to tell me it's for something that never really mattered.
Please don't be so cruel.
Cruel, you forget. I'm the one who's going to die, not you.
I've not forgotten, monsieur.
Yes. You'll enjoy tomorrow's sun like any other days. And tomorrow night, perhaps you'll see him again. And of course, I'll be forgotten.
Oh, no, never.
But it's all a man can expect when he's born into the world, death at last. And some piece of ironic misfortune.
Oh, don't say this. I can't bear it.
Oh, if I said anything to wound you, I'm sorry. It was for your own sake, not mine.
Thank you.
Please. It's a bitter thing, my dear, to see you in such distress that giving my life itself for you can't help it.
I'm sorry. I'll try to be braver. Is there no way at all in which I can serve you? Either now or afterwards?
Only by letting me think of you as a friend for the brief time that's left to us. By forgetting for the moment that I'm an awkward intruder thrown here by circumstance. That's all.
And afterwards?
What does it matter? The closer you come to it, the clearer you see that death's no more than a dark and dusty corner where a man climbs into his tomb and shuts the door after him.
Oh, monsieur.
I've only a few friends now. And once I'm dead, I've no doubt that I'll have none.
You forget Blanche de Maltroits.
You're very sweet. Any young man in France would be glad to trade places with me and die for you. You value the small service I do you far beyond its worth.
I'll not have you thinking so meanly of yourself. Look at me. Would you say that I am beautiful?
I think the most beautiful girl I've ever seen.
I'm glad of that. Tell me, is there a man in France who can say he's been asked in marriage by a beautiful maiden, asked from her own lips, and refused her to her face?
Oh, no.
I know you're a man and half despise such a triumph. But any woman knows more of what's precious in love.
But remember, you asked me out of the pity of your heart, not for love.
Are you so sure of that? Must I bear my very soul like a merchant showcase?
You're very good. As good as you're beautiful. I'll not forget it for the time that's left me.
Very well. I, too, have a pride of my own. If you turn back now from your word, I'd no more marry you than I would any stranger off the street.
It's a small love that shies at a little pride. The dawn's starting to break.
Yes. My uncle and his men will come here any moment. What shall we say to him?
Anything you will.
Oh. All of my life I weep for you. And weep the more because it was you.
If I'm wrong, it's a great price I'm paying for it. One I'd not pay if I didn't care for you so dearly.
Careful. Oh, no, it's you who are being kind.
It was in the moment your uncle brought me into you and you raised your face to look at me. That's when I knew.
Oh, strange. For it was then I felt it, too.
You've seen already that I'm not afraid to die.
Oh, you're not. I know it.
Blanche, is it really true, not something born of pity?
I swear by all that's holy. I love you, Denis.
Oh, my beloved. And I can tell you now that I love you, too.
Even after all you've heard.
I can remember none of it.
The captain's
No
name.
matter. I love you.
Oh, my darling.
I love you more than my life and my soul. Blanche, my darling, I love you. I love you, Blanche.
Well.
Uncle.
Well. It's most gratifying to see this little matter settle in such a congenial fashion. Good morning, my dear nephew.
I have nothing to say to you, sir. You're a vicious and unprincipled old man.
Oh, that's most ungracious of you. No. At the very worst, I'm no more than a very wise old man. One who's lived a long time and seen a great many remarkable things. An old man who's learned all about such mysteries as the love of life and love.
The Sire de Maltroits' Door by Robert Louis Stevenson was adapted for radio by Les Crutchfield and produced and directed by William N. Robeson with Elliot Lewis as Denis Peggy Weber as Blanche, and Ramsey Hill as the Sire de Maltroits. The special musical score was conceived and conducted by Cy Feuer. Escape is presented by the Columbia Broadcasting System and its affiliated stations each week at this time. Next week, we invite you to escape to Egypt of 3,500 years ago with Arthur Conan Doyle's fascinating tale of the Ring of Thoth. And so good night until next week at this time, when again it will be time to escape. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Nestle's Ever-Ready, the instant cocoa. Nestle's Quick for great chocolate milk. And Nestle's chocolate bars now present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! In today's transcribed Space Patrol adventure, Buzz and Happy are on a strange planet 50,000 light years from the solar system. With their ship's water supply exhausted, they're kneeling beside a small lake to fill their canteens.
It's cool, sir. Fairly clear.
Fill the tester first, Hap. The water may be frozen.
Yes, sir. I'm so thirsty I can't... Hey! Commander, what was that?
Drop down, Happy. Someone's shooting at us.
Hey, somebody's coming over the rim of the crater.
Got a gun. I laid down.
Oh, that was close.
Range, Hap. If you don't stop him, next time he'll get us, sure.
We'll return in just a moment with a thrilling story, The Realm of the Robots. It's hot stuff.
What's hot stuff?
Nestle's Ever-Ready Cocoa.
Hey, that's hot stuff.
Well, that's what I said. Nestle's Ever-Ready Cocoa is hot stuff.
Well, what are we arguing about?
Oh, Hap, stop mixing me up. There's no argument about Nestle's Ever-Ready because everybody agrees it makes the most wonderful cup of hot chocolate in the universe.
You said a mouthful, Captain Tufel. Nestle's makes such a rich, chocolatey, delicious hot chocolate it's out of this world. And there's no mixing up either, because Nestle's Ever-Ready practically makes itself.
That's right. All you do is put 1, 2, 3 teaspoons of Nestle's Ever-Ready in your cup, add hot water, and it's made.
You don't have to add milk or sugar, because Nestle's is complete.
Yes, Nestle's has rich, whole milk and sugar already in it.
And you know something? What I like best about Nestle's is that sensational Nestle's flavor. There's nothing quite like it. It's real chocolatey, too. A terrific treat, any time of day or night.
Glad you mentioned that, Hap, because we always recommended hot chocolate made with Nestle's for a breakfast warm-up. But we also like to see Space Patrollers drink it at all their meals and snacks, too.
Now, what did you say was the name of this product?
Oh, Hap, you're kidding me again. You know it couldn't be anything but Nestle's Ever-Ready Cocoa.
In the bright red can. That's Nestle's, and it's hot stuff.
And now, today's Space Patrol adventure, The Realm of the Robots. Commander Corey and Cadet Happy are aboard the Terra 5 on a special mission of exploration to Orion 14, a star 50,000 light years from the solar system. United Planets astronomers believe they've detected traces of a super radioactive element in the spectrum of the remote star. With a hyperspace vector set for Orion 14, Buzz and Happy are now waiting for their ship to emerge from faster-than-light star drive into regular rocket drive.
We're coming out of star drive, Hap. Get ready for our first close-up of Orion 14.
Wow. Ball of bright hot fire.
Check the cosmic protective shield.
Right, man. No harmful rays are getting through, sir.
Good. Now we'll set up the instruments and run a spectrographic test of the elements in Orion 14.
Mind if I get a drink of water first?
Go ahead and bring me one, Happy.
Yes, sir. Just looking at that ball of fire makes me thirsty. Uh-oh.
What's the matter?
The water supply. I forgot to check it before we left.
What are the gauges saying?
Port tank, empty. Starboard tank, empty. Reserve tank, bone dry. There isn't enough water aboard for a hummingbird to gargle with.
Oh, how about the canteens and the field equipment locker?
I goofed again, sir. Remember you ordered the entire water system purified, the pipes and tanks cleaned out, and the field canteen sterilized?
Yes.
Well, everything's sterilized, all right. Sterilized and empty. It's all my fault, sir.
Blaming yourself won't solve the problem.
Well, there's only one way to solve it. It's to go back to the solar system. How am I going to take a ribbing for this? 50,000 light years out in space, and I have to go back for a drink of water.
There's a chance we won't have to go back, Hap. There's a planet over there about 10 million DUs away. It may have water on it.
Yes, sir, but if it doesn't have water on it, you're in a worse spot than ever.
It's got an atmosphere in there. You can tell by the way the light from the stars diffused around it. Well, I change vector. You set up the atmosphere testing equipment.
Decelerating as they approach the strange planet, Buzz scans the surface through the viewscope while Happy prepares to run a test of the atmosphere.
Well, it doesn't look very promising, Hap. Just mountains and desert so far.
Commander, things are looking up. There's hydrogen in the atmosphere and some oxygen.
The ingredients of water, at least.
Yeah, but the vapor content is awfully low, sir. At least at this altitude.
We'll descend close to the surface, Hap. Any trace of poisonous gases?
None so far, sir.
Hap, look over there. What does that look like?
Smoke and rockets. If it isn't a mirage, it's a lake.
A lake, all right. Or else it's the first mirage that ever fooled the viewscope.
Yeah, that's the most beautiful sight I ever saw. As soon as we sit down, I'm going to dive right in and not come up until I've drunk a gallon.
Oh, no, Hap. It's a small pool down inside a crater. Maybe poisonous. In fact, it may not be water at all, as we know. You get the test kit and 2 large canteens.
Yes, sir.
I'll set the ship down as close to the crater as I can.
After landing the ship on the strange planet, Buzz makes another careful sampling of the outside atmosphere before entering the airlock. Trying to conceal his impatience, Happy waits with 2 large, empty canteens strapped over his shoulders.
You're out there, breathable, Happy. We're going to find it very hot and dry.
I've got everything, sir. The test kit, the canteen.
Better fasten this to your belt.
Miniature space account.
That's a portable translator. For all we know, this planet may be inhabited. It might be considered enemy invaders. They could be caught down there at the lake if the spaceship comes in there.
Yeah, that's right. If we hear any signals, we'll know that somebody might be looking for us.
Right. Okay, open the hatch.
Oh, am I thirsty?
Try not to think about it until we test the water. Close the inner hatch. We want to keep the ship's air cool. I'll open the outer hatch.
Wow, like an oven out there.
Let's make it a quick trip down the ladder.
Hey, this is desert, all right. Nothing but dry brush right up to the rim of the crater. It sure looks beautiful, like a mirror.
Yes, but it has no window or outlet. Let's make a test.
Here's the test kit, sir.
You give us a sample, huh?
Yes, sir. Hey, it's cooler than I thought it would be. And fairly clear.
It may be fed by an underground spring. All right, put the cap in the test tube and wait a full minute.
Yes, sir. But believe me, this minute is going to seem like an hour.
Watch the indicators, Hap. They'll tell us if it's water and if there's harmful bacteria.
Commander, what was that?
Stop at the ground, Hap. Somebody's shooting at us.
Somebody's coming over the rim of the crater. Down to the left.
I see. I'll try to draw my ray gun.
Hey, that was close. It splashed water in my face.
Next time you'll get us, sure. Don't move your gun. Try to get him to talk. If we can tune in the translator correctly, maybe we can get him to listen to reason.
Yes, sir. Commander, this may be the last thing I do, but I'm going to take a drink of water.
Be careful, Hap.
My face is almost in it. And, well, if I'm going to be shot anyway, why should I die thirsty?
Just moisten your mouth.
Okay.
Easy.
Oh, I couldn't help it. It's wonderful. Sweet, cool water.
Still coming toward us. Oh, it's moving.
We're friends. We do not want to harm you.
Wait, Pastonia. People, down.
Keep trying different settings in that translator. I'll try to keep them talking.
Put away your weapon. We're from the United Planets.
Una Pasca Mona. Soy hombre y toisa.
Sounds fine. You understand anything?
No, sir.
Razi Mirna Klas. Vidya Heno. I'm afraid I have made a mistake.
I've got it. Setting 97, Commander.
We want to be friends.
Please put away your weapon.
I am sorry I shot at you. I thought at first you were of the ARG.
Oh, we're from a far distant world. We stopped here for water.
So there are other worlds with human beings. I knew it. That's what I kept telling Anila. The ARG may be watching. For your own safety, slake your thirst and leave Gabon.
What's this ARG? Are they after you?
The ARG are the aberration rectifier group.
Huh? Commander, I think my translator's out of order.
Aberration isn't there. Deviation from space.
Exactly. And the function of the ARG is to detect these aberrations and correct them. I knew you weren't from the ARG when I saw you drink from the lake.
You mean the lake is poison or something?
No. The ARG do not drink water. They do not need water or food.
What kind of human beings are they?
They are not human beings. They're robots. Mechanical creations in the shape of human beings.
Well, if I'm not getting too personal, what are they after you for? You seem like a nice sort of guy.
The Z-type ARG are after me because, well, I don't like to conform. I like to invent new ways to do my work. I like to wander through the city as I choose.
This makes you an aberration?
Yes. So the robots of the aberration rectifier group automatically follow me. I couldn't stand it any longer, so I ran away from the city. But I'm sure the VRIG isn't far behind.
What's your name?
Mona.
You haven't committed a crime, have you?
Crime?
Have you hurt anyone? You've taken something that belonged to another human being?
No. I'm being hunted because I do not follow the exact life pattern that the robots have directed.
You mean most people on this planet obey the robots?
Yes, all but a very few. Most of the aberrationists are brought back into the line by the ARG.
Imagine being bossed by a bunch of Zargs.
Zargs?
Yeah, Z-A-R-G, Zargs.
Mono, reckon you'd go to be safe from the Zargs, happy party.
I'm on my way. You must go quickly. Get to your ship.
What's the matter?
The robot has seen us. Look, he's coming toward us on the south end of the rim.
Come with us, Mono.
No. The robot is after me. If you run to your ship immediately, it will not harm you.
What'll it do if it catches you?
Make me helpless with the immobilizer.
You've got a weapon, the one you fired at.
It's useless. I used the last shot shooting at you.
Then come on. Maybe we can get over to the rim before the robot can stop us. Let's go. Come on, Hap.
There's a robot's going farther down the rim of the crater.
We'll have to run faster. The robots are very swift.
It sure looks like a human being.
You'll know the difference if he gets close now.
We're not going to get close if we can help it. There's the ship.
It's going to be tough running through that brush.
It'll be tough on the robot, too.
He's getting closer. Hey, what's that?
I don't know. A new weapon, I guess.
The brush is on fire.
Smoking rockets, there's a wall of flame between us and the ship.
The robot's got a heat ray.
The Zarg's closing in on us. We're trapped.
We'll return to Space Patrol in just a moment.
Say, Captain Truthbell, I just got my rocket cockpit. And boy, is it super.
You said it, Tony. The model of Commander Corey's XRC is the greatest thing we've ever offered Space Patrollers.
Let me tell about it, will you?
Sure, go ahead.
Gang, the rocket cockpit is a real scale model of the actual Space Patrol project, Infinity. It's 9 foot high, almost 2 feet wide. It's brightly colored, metal studded. It has moving parts, just like the real thing. You send and receive secret messages with the master code. They'll teach you a language only Space Patrollers can know. Fire the powerful atomic cannons. They're real secret. We govern the rocket mechanism with special gravity control handles. We set the special time computers to star drive. It takes you into the future century. Travels more than 100,000 miles an hour. Look through the big moving view scope. You see all the planets and their names, too. How would you like that?
Tony, it's my guess they'll like it fine. In fact, we hope that every single Space Patroller will send for a rocket cockpit for his very own.
Having a rocket cockpit is almost as good as having a real rocket ship, all your own. So get yours. It's real easy. Just send your name and address and 25 cents in coins. Plus 2 wrappers from any size Nestle's chocolate bars to Nestle, Box 54, St. Louis, Missouri.
The gang, send today so you'll be ready to receive Commander Corey's secret messages. That's your name and address and 25 cents in coin, plus 2 wrappers from any size Nestle's chocolate bars to Nestle, Box 54, St. Louis, Missouri.
And now back to today's Space Patrol adventure, The Realm of the Robots. Buzz and Happy have landed on a strange planet near Orion 14 to obtain water. They were fired upon by an inhabitant of the planet who later explained he thought they were robots. The Space Patrollers soon learned that the planet Gobonic is controlled by robots who keep the human population under constant surveillance. Suddenly, one of the human-like robots appears. Deciding to save their new friend Mono from capture by the mechanical men, Buzz and Happy race toward their spaceship. As they run through the dry brush, they suddenly find themselves facing a wall of flame.
Commander, we're cut off, and here comes the robot.
It wants to take us alive, or it would have used that flame ray on us.
A few more steps and we'll be helpless.
With the immobilizer ray, you mean?
Yes.
Oh, look, over there to the left. The flames aren't very thick. Shield your faces and run through the fire.
Sure, then the robot can't see us.
They can see through smoke.
No time to argue. If we break through the flame, we'll split up. We can confuse the robot. Maybe either Happy or I can reach the ship and get some weapons. Come on.
Stop. We're ordered to halt in the name of the Gobonic control system.
The robot's got quite a set of pipes.
Spread out. You can only chase one of us.
Stop. You are ordered to halt in the name of the Gobonic control system.
Go on, Mono. Up the ladder into the ship.
Yes.
Halt. You cannot escape the ARG.
Commander, the robot's after your friend.
Run for the ship, Happy. Hurry.
Commander, wait for me.
Mono, that robot is made of metal, isn't it?
Yes.
You stay here at the hatch and help Happy aboard. I'm going forward and put on the magnetic repeller ray.
You are nearly within range of the immobilizer ray. Halt at once.
Somebody get a blaster, quick.
Hurry, Happy. Up the ladder. Give me your hand.
You have been warned.
Come on, Happy.
Oh, thanks, Mono. Let's close this hatch, quick. The robot's right behind me.
The robot is now some distance away.
Smoking rockets, what happened? Lying on its back, 200 yards out there in the brush.
It suddenly flew backward, though hit by a strong wind.
I used the magnetic repeller ray, Happy. Knocked the metal robot for a loop, but couldn't attack you.
Oh, thanks, Commander. I thought I was finished for sure.
Close the hatch and blast off before the Zard gets himself back into gear.
Yes, sir.
Up forward, everybody.
Oh, while we were talking to Mono, I'd partly filled his canteen.
I can't get over it. Human beings mastering a robot. Remarkable.
Remarkable nothing. That's the way it should be.
All right, stand by for blast off.
Standing by, sir.
Close ports.
Close point.
Fire jets.
Fire jets.
Up, chipping away. All right, Mono. Where can we take you?
You mean you direct your ship just as you like? You can go anywhere you want?
Well, just about. Anywhere within the limits of the ship's power.
Amazing. No wonder.
You have space travel here in Gobonic?
There are spaceships. But I never heard of human beings traveling in them. They blast off at intervals full of cargo and then return empty to our city spaceport.
Where do they go?
I don't know. It's been going on for generations.
Wait, somebody must have charge of the robots. Don't you have a government, or at least a ruling class?
The robots are the ruling class.
How did they get to be? Who built the robots in the first place?
Nobody knows. In fact, very few human beings ever wonder about it. If they do, they do not speak their thoughts aloud.
Well, the Zards get them, is that it? Like the robot that was after us?
Yes. Few human beings have escaped from the city. They live in groups of 4 or 5 on small farms. I was on my way to one of those farms when I saw you.
Tell us where it is, and we'll take you there.
That's very kind of you.
I can't see how people would let themselves get in that position. Unless they gave you a lot to eat and a lot of luxuries.
No, that's not the case. We're given only enough food to enable us to do the required work. There are no luxuries except for the administrators.
The administrators? Who are they?
A few highly skilled engineers who attend to the needs of the robot mechanism. The administrators replace defective parts in the computers.
I see. The administrators get extra food and luxuries, so they're satisfied to keep the robots in control.
That is right, Commander.
Sometime in the past, living, intelligent beings must have put those robots in charge of the planet.
Yeah, and once the system got rolling... Commander, look. The starboard view scope.
A spaceship. Oh, no. Is that one of your Gobonic ships?
Yes. They blast off from the city at regular intervals.
Do they have human pilots, or are they robot-controlled?
I'm not sure. I think they're robot-operated. Well, with a human being at the controls, it might be too much temptation.
To escape from Gobonic, you mean?
Yes.
I'd like to know where the ship's headed.
Do you know, Mono?
No. But there's no way to obtain information.
If
If it does not directly concern your work, you do not ask questions.
What is your work? I mean, what did you do before you left the city?
I was a feeder in the document reclamation plant.
Huh?
When the records are no longer of any use, they were brought to the reclamation plant. I fed them into a vat where they were dissolved and later made into new paper.
Mono, did you ever examine any of those documents?
Yes. It is forbidden that I have examined some of those documents before I threw them into the vat. I even saved scraps of them.
What did you see in those documents?
The totals of what we produced, how much we had received. Only half of our wealth remains on the bond to be distributed among our people. The rest, well, I don't know where it goes.
If we follow that spaceship, maybe we'll find out.
Already checked its vector, Commander.
Good. The robots rule Gobonic. Now let's see who rules the robots.
Keeping the robot ship in the viewscope, Buzz trails it on its long, curved trajectory over the star Orion 14. Finally, another planet comes into view. And Happy, following the commander's instructions, runs a series of tests on the distant world.
Commander, I've got the periscope focused now. I can see a city on that planet, and the robot ship is coming in for a landing.
Let me look in. It's a big city, all right. But something's wrong. Those buildings are in ruins. There's no sign of activity anywhere.
Then why is the robot ship landing there?
This is incredible. Some horrible disaster struck that city. The buildings are smashed and gutted. The streets are choked with rubble.
Smoke and rockets.
Now, take a good look at those ruins now. What do you see?
A lot of weeds and brambles. And a lot of rubble is covered with something that looks like moss.
A living soul in sight. The city was destroyed years ago, perhaps even a century.
But that robot ship is...
Take a look at the spaceport. The ship has just dumped its cargo. Now it's blasting off. Mono, I want you to see this. Look into the periscope.
Yes, ma'am. The whole area is stacked with supplies, mountains of them.
That's where half the wealth of your planet has been going for generations.
Right here, in the heart of this ruined city, I've never used.
There's another robot ship in the viewscope, sir. Coming in with another cargo, I guess.
Yes, they'll keep coming for another 100 years unless the people of Gobonic overthrow those robots.
Commander, when Mono gets this news back to the people, he'll be a real hero instead of a fugitive.
You don't understand, Happy. The Z-type robots, Zargs as you call them, would silence me before I could speak.
Something sure ought to be done about it.
I can spread the word among those who have already escaped from the city. Perhaps in time we can build up an organization and eventually get the truth to the slaves of the robot.
You want us to take you to that farm you mentioned?
I'd appreciate it, Commander.
All right, Mono. Change back to Hap. We're returning to Gobonic.
More than an hour later, the Terra 5 settles down in a forest clearing on the planet Gobonic. As Buzz opens the outer hatch, he and Happy can see a small log hut set back among the trees.
Oh, Mono, you ought to be safe here.
At least I shall be free. And I can raise enough food for my own needs. There's a small spring behind the hut, so I'll have plenty of water.
That reminds me. One full canteen of water will see us back to our own solar system.
Of course, Commander. If one of you will come with me.
Hap, you stay here in the ship. Check the spacephone frequencies. There's a chance that the robot detectives may have seen our ship.
Yes, sir.
If you pick up anything that sounds like trouble, signal me. I'll set my miniature spacephone to emergency channel 5.
Okay, Commander. Goodbye, Mono, and good luck.
Thank you, Happy. And I hope we'll meet again when we human beings control our own destiny.
You'll conquer those robots, don't worry.
It's certainly nice and cool under these trees. Very peaceful. Wait a minute. Something moving in the country breath.
Halt. By order of the Gobonic control system.
There's another one.
Having trouble, Commander?
2 Zargs, Hap. Cut on the repeller ray.
Hope you're not out of range. Here goes.
We got one of them, Hap. The repeller ray smashed him against a tree trunk.
How about the other one?
He's still coming toward us.
That's not a robot. It's one of the administrators.
Cut the repeller ray, Hap, and stand by.
Yes, sir.
Stand right where you are. Both of you.
Better do as he says, Commander. The weapon he's holding could destroy both of us in a flash.
That is correct, Mona. I have every right to destroy you right now. You have committed the capital offense of harming the robot.
Mono had nothing to do with it. The robot was smashed by my order.
And who are you?
I'm from another solar system. I don't know anything about your laws here in Gobonic, but I wrecked your robot in self-defense.
Self-defense? Huh? A human being has no right to resist a robot. The robots are the supreme authority of Gobonic.
Yes? Who made them the supreme authority?
That does not matter. Anyone who would question the authority of a robot is an idiot and a criminal.
Mono says you're an administrator. Have you ever questioned a robot's decision?
No, never. I am Roknar, administrator of Class H functions of robot control. To suggest that I, Roknar, would question a robot is an insult.
Roknar, listen.
Silence! In a moment, this weapon in my hand will wipe you off the face of Gobonic, as though you never existed.
Hap.
Yes, sir?
Full repeller ray, a quick blast.
Commander, this gun is gone.
His metal. The repeller ray whipped it out of his hand. Now, Roknar.
No, I am an administrator.
Knocked him out.
Is everything all right, Commander?
Yes, Hap. If I fill this canteen, I'm bringing Mono back to the ship.
But Commander...
It isn't safe for you here. And you want to fight the robots, don't you?
Yes, of course.
Well, come on. Get out of here before Roknar comes to.
We're almost up to star drive velocity, Commander.
Fine, Hap. Don't look so sad, Mono. You'll be seeing Gobonic again soon.
I was thinking of all those people. Generations of them, working endlessly, uselessly for nothing.
You'll find a way to bring them the truth, Mono. As soon as Happy and I report to our government, we'll bring you back to Gobonic.
An action preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure in just a moment.
Hi, Space Patrollers. Commander Corey here. As I promised, I've got a secret message for you. It's the Space Patrol password. Now, write it down. Then turn the right-hand master code dial on your rocket cockpit to each symbol. The actual letters appear in the little window. Now, here goes. E2, L5. That's E2, L5. Second word. N1, O12, L5. T18, E20. Repeat. N1, O12, L5, T18, E20. Now you have the official password. You can have so much more fun with your rocket cockpit. It's equipped with moving stratoviewer, speed controls, secret star drive mechanism, and sensational working atom cannons. Now, don't miss out on all the fun. Write for your rocket cockpit today, before the offer expires. Send your name and address, and 25 cents in coin, along with 2 wrappers from any size Nestle's chocolate bars, to Nestle, Box 54, St. Louis, Missouri. That's Box 54, St. Louis, Missouri.
And now, a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure. Buzz and Happy are walking across the spaceport of a deserted, ruined city on the planet Wormbuck.
Cap, look up there. You know that big stack of supplies.
It's an opening in the ground.
Was it there a minute ago?
Yes, I don't know. I don't think so. Look, the rockets. Look what's coming out of that hole. It's a giant beetle.
The robot tank.
Well, whatever it is, it's a monster. And it's coming toward us.
Get back to the ship, Hap. Hurry.
Hey, Commander, the robot's right behind us.
Be sure to join us next week for the thrilling story, The Watchman of Wormbuck. Space Patrol, created by Mike Moser, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Lynn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston, produced and directed by Larry Robertson, executive producer Helen Moser. Other players were Norman Jolly, Ken Mayer, Bela Kovac, and Tony Sides. Dick Tufel speaking. This week's Space Patrol was brought to you by Nestle's Eveready, the instant cocoa.
Nestle's Quick for great chocolate milk and famous Nestle's chocolate bars. This program is broadcast by our armed forces overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Space Patrol came to you transcribed from Hollywood.
This is ABC Radio Network.